It goes to show that even when like you're just competing against yourself, all these websites were created at the exact same time. They're all targeting the exact same word. Google's still prioritizing human written content over bot written.
Welcome to Authentic AI for Entrepreneurs, the podcast that shows you how to leverage the power of AI technology without wasting your time or selling your soul. Let's embrace making AI work for you. Hey, my human friend, and welcome to the Authentic AI podcast. I'm your host, Kinsey, and today we have a special guest, Julia, to talk about how AI technology and SEO can go hand in hand. I can't wait to share this conversation with you because if you're anything like me, SEO is one of those things that you really want AI technology to help you with, because I don't know about you, but I am just not one of those people who can really do the research and find the keywords and all the like meta descriptions. I don't know. I struggle to do that myself. And so having AI, Chat GPT, whatever tool you want to use to help us in this process is an awesome idea. But as you will hear in the conversation with Julia, it's important to be aware of the limitations that different AI technology has so that you can make sure that you are using it in the best way to boost your SEO and not like shooting yourself in the foot or whatever the saying is when it comes to SEO. Now, I will say that during our conversation with Julia, we do talk about how this different technology can change so quickly. And we are currently in the process of seeing big changes happening within Google itself, even and their AI technology. A lot of the stuff depends on if you use specific softwares or if you would invest in the premium version of Chat GPT that would allow you access to the internet and plugins and all that different stuff. I will say that after this conversation, I did look into the plugins for SEO for Chat GPT. The premium version does include SEO plugins, but one of the big takeaways that I got from this conversation with Julia is just to simply make sure that you are thinking critically when it comes to using Chat GPT for anything, but then especially this SEO stuff. We can't always trust that ChatGPT or even plugins is going to work in the best way every time, right? And so what we really need to do is speak to experts, really use our own critical thinking skills and test and tweak different things until we get it right. And that's really what it is, no matter what you're using ChatGPT for, right? So anyway, I know you're going to love this conversation with Julia. I had so much fun chatting with her. She dishes up lots of knowledge nuggets, interesting case studies, all the different things. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. Have you been feeling frustrated trying to get ChatGPT to sound like you? You know this is an awesome tool you can use for so many things in your business, but you're tired of wasting time going back and forth only to end up with generic copy that sounds like a robot wrote it. Our new brand persona for ChatGPT mini course will help you hone your brand's unique voice with the help of ChatGPT, so you can get ChatGPT to dish up content ideas that are perfect for your brand and write copy that sounds just like you. With this quick, easy, and actionable mini course, we'll walk you through the process of training ChatGPT for your brand. So in less than an hour, you can turn ChatGPT into your amazing new assistant, content creator, copywriter, brainstormer at a minuscule fraction of the cost. So why wait? Sign up for our brand persona for ChatGPT mini course right now at AuthenticAIForEntrepreneurs.com/mini course. And in less than an hour, we'll get your ChatGPT to sound just like your brand and work authentically for your business. Hi, Julia. Thank you so much for coming on Authentic AI for Entrepreneurs. I am so glad to bring you on the show, lady.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Yes, of course. And I can't wait to talk about AI and SEO because like I was saying before we hit record, I'm going to be asking all the dumb questions today and I cannot wait to hear your thoughts. But before we dive into that, I would just like you to introduce yourself to our listeners. Who are you? What do you do? And who do you serve?
Yeah, so as you said, I do SEO. I actually have two separate businesses now. First one is Julia Renee Consulting, where I do both SEO and Pinterest for creative small businesses. And then my latest venture is Homegrown Reach, where I do SEO for agriculture and horticulture businesses. I've been doing it total for about 6.5 years now.
Oh, I love this. And we have not necessarily talked about the homegrown reach ourselves. I can't wait to hear a little bit more about that. Yes. And definitely like focusing in on the horticulture business. So interesting. I need to connect you with some of my garden ladies. But today we are talking about AI and SEO. So I always just kind of like to kick off these conversations by asking, how did you start dipping your toes into the world of AI and learning more about it?
It took me a really long time because I hate change so much. I was super against AI, Chat GPT, all of that, especially because I've seen some like legal issues with it. So I was like very opposed for the longest time. But I probably started dipping my toes in a couple months ago, since I was like, okay, let me just see what this thing is. I actually used, because I didn't like that I had to give Chat GPT my phone number. I feel like everyone's been asking for phone numbers lately, and I hate that. So I actually used the Tailwind AI tool that they have, since I already have a Tailwind account for Pinterest. So they have like a ghostwriter AI tool. It is terrible. Don't recommend it. You can't like set any parameters. You kind of give them like a topic and like some subtopics maybe, and then they'll just like, you can't even give them a word limit. So I gave them a topic and they gave me a 4,000 word blog post. I'm like, no one is reading this. Like no one is going to read 4,000 words. They also like duplicated headings, had like punctuation in weird places. So they have some kinks to work out. So then I was like, all right, I'm not using this ever again. So that's when I started like testing out Chat GPT. I've mostly been using it for blog posts so far, and also just like straight testing and like experimenting to kind of see what they know with SEO things. And then I've also been diving deep into like SEO case studies, because when Chat GPT first came out, like SEO takes a little bit of time. So if you put a bot generated article on your website, like it's going to take some time to actually see the results. So a lot more case studies started coming out like over the summer. So I've been really diving into those to kind of see what SEO actually, how it works with AI, and like what the kind of future of SEO and AI could be. There are a lot of acronyms going on right now.
It has taken me forever to be able to say Chat GPT without like word vomit it. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I get it for sure. But oh my gosh. And thank you for sharing about Tailwind's not so great AI features, because exactly like that's it, right? Like everyone, okay, you remember back in like 2019, 2020, when everyone and their grandma all of a sudden became a social media manager? Like, that's how I feel like AI is right now for all the different softwares that we use, where it's like all of a sudden every freaking software is integrating some sort of AI something into it, and they aren't all that great, right? No. And so it really is about finding the tools that work for you, that work the best as well. And that's why I like having these conversations, because then we can hear all these things. Because yeah, I've definitely been using Buzzsprout's AI integration as well, which you have to pay a little extra for every month. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to test this out and see. And at this point, I love me some Buzzsprout for my podcast hosting, but the AI is not the greatest. It's good to hear that Tailwinds isn't as well. And I think that that is truly one of those markers that I've been noticing when it comes to which software is better than others. And it's like the stuff that doesn't allow you to set parameters, such as like your brand voice, to tell it how long you like, the stuff that doesn't allow you to work with it in collaboration is where it's not as good. Cause that's the same with Buzzsprout too. I think it's just like so interesting to start thinking about like using ChatGPT or whatever you want to use when it comes to specific things such as like SEO and like how good is it and stuff. And I was talking to someone the other day too. I think that, you know, a lot of experts, copywriters, even artists, graphic designers, you know, you as an SEO expert, coaches, like business messaging people, like some people kind of are a little bit worried somewhat. Like sometimes the first initial reaction is a little bit worried about, is this going to take my job? But I was chatting with someone the other day, and I really think that experts actually, if they can embrace this stuff and start using it, they are the people who can use it the best, right? Like that's why I'm so excited to chat with you about SEO, because I'm not an SEO expert, and I don't know necessarily if like I ask it an SEO question or if I ask it for keywords or whatever it is, it's going to give me a good answer. You know the correct prompts to give it for specific SEO things, and you know if the stuff it's throwing back out at you is BS or not, right? Yeah. So I think that experts using AI is truly where the magic happens. So tell us your thoughts, like your initial thoughts as far as using AI, Chat GPT for SEO purposes.
Yeah, so I think what I love about Chat GPT the most is like if you have a piece of content to create and you hate just like looking at a blank page, like when you're writing an essay in high school and you just like freak out because the page is blank and you don't even know where to start. So I think it's really helpful for that. But I definitely think you do need to set the SEO parameters. And I know you're doing a lot with like setting brand voice parameters, which is like super helpful because you don't want it just another blog post that sounds like a bot or a social media post that sounds like a bot. So definitely making sure that when you're using like Chat GPT for like a blog post and I would not use it for keyword research. I'll say that, especially because Chat GPT doesn't have the data from the past like 2 years. So there could have been massive changes in, different keywords depending on your industry and things like that. So I would make sure you have like your keywords that you want to target first before like starting with Chat GPT. And then, setting those parameters on like, hey, incorporate this keyword 1 to 5% of all the content. Also, I recommend giving them keyword variations to use because I did give them like a keyword once and told them how many times to use it. And they just like kind of stuffed it in these random spots in the blog post. I was like, that's not really what I meant. So you do have to get really specific with them. And then if you want to use them for like writing your title tags and meta descriptions, making sure you're giving them the character count. So right now, title tags can be up to 60 characters, including spaces, and meta descriptions can be up to 160 characters, including spaces. So make sure if you want to tell them, hey, I want a title tag that's 60 characters or fewer, make sure you're also counting the spaces because they might just be, thinking that the characters are like the actual letters and, not including the spaces in that. So just making sure that you're like giving them the parameters that, are best guidelines for SEO. And making sure you're doing things like adding your brand voice, making sure that you're adding personal examples if you're able to, because right now kind of everyone is using these AI tools. So you don't want to just another blog post that sounds like anyone in your industry could have written it. And then also adding these like personal examples are a good way that you can connect with your readers as well. Hopefully kind of drive more conversions or get them to sign up to your email list or, whatever it is that you want them to do when they're on your website. So that way they're not just like looking at a bot written article and then leaving. So like, this just sounds like, 5 other articles I just read. So making sure you're adding that human touch. Also, Google really does like the human touch. They just had a big update in September, I believe, the helpful content update. So a lot of people saw that like the AI written articles that they put on their website, all of a sudden their rankings just dropped and their traffic disappeared overnight. So you don't want to get penalized, but also Google is really valuing the really quality, personalized articles over just like, a standardized blog post that anyone can write. So if you want to rank well, make sure you are adding those personal touches and your brand voice and everything like that. But that's also going to help you connect with your audience as well.
Oh, I love that. So much value is packed into one little bit of this already. But I'm so glad that you said that about like the personal touch and like Google is valuing the unique stuff, the personal human stuff somewhat more so because exactly like everyone is starting to use AI and it's getting pretty obvious, like the people who are just putting generic responses into AI and getting generic responses back and or just like copying and pasting exactly what AI is throwing their way. Like the freaking semicolon is such a telltale sign. ChatGPT loves using that semicolon for sure. But I think that that's so true. Just like the people who are listening to this podcast who care about using AI strategically and authentically in conjunction, like I really think that there is magic there because that's how you are going to keep that uniqueness and use AI in helpful ways, but also continue not only like standing out in that personal way, but ranking better on Google even. Do you have any thoughts about why people's SEO rankings have dropped? Like if they're just using like AI generated articles and stuff, like what are the specific reasons? Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, there are a few different theories for this. I mean, one is like if it sounds like a bot, then, Google is going to drop it in rankings. I mean, also there are lots of different factors where if someone comes to the, article and it just sounds like it's written like a bot and they leave the website quickly, Google can see that. So they can see like how many people are actually being engaged and staying on a website versus how many are like leaving pretty quickly. Because Google really wants the top quality websites to be ranking for keywords because they want people to keep coming back to Google to, keep searching for things. So if people are getting fed up with what they're finding in Google results, they might go to other search engines and then, Google can lose out on those users. So yeah, probably they can tell that it's written by a bot, people can tell it's written by a bot. And there are actually a lot of interesting case studies out there. I might like kind of geek out for a minute, but one that I read, this was super interesting. They used Chat GPT to create a word that is not a real word, and then that had 0 search results on Google. And then they went and they created 10 different websites, 5 of them written by bots, and they didn't, change anything. And then 5 of them, the copy was written by humans. And they tracked these 10 websites to see how they ranked for this made up word. And I think in the top 5 spots, there was only one, I think in the 5th spot, actually, that was bot written. The top 4 were human written. And then so the humans outranked the bots by far on Google. So, I mean, there are lots of different metrics that go into this, but the fact that they were able to kind of silo their case study by focusing on a made up word that no one else is going to try to target and only being able to analyze the results for all the websites that they've created was super interesting. Yeah, it goes to show that even when you're just competing against yourself, all these websites were created at the exact same time. They're all targeting the exact same word. Google's still kind of prioritizing human written content over bot written.
If you want tips and strategies on how to start, grow, and monetize your business online, check out the Digital Revolution podcast with Eli Adams. We interview digital experts from around the world that share their personal stories. They talk about what they're currently working on and where they see the future going. But most importantly, they share tactics in their specific area of expertise with the hope of helping you improve your digital presence online. You can listen to the Digital Revolution podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, or simply click on the link in the show notes below.
Are you ready to start using AI authentically and strategically in your business? We're ready for you to do that too. That's why we're dishing up lots of new step-by-step courses and super helpful resources for our Black Friday extravaganza. You see, we've been working hard behind the scenes to create step-by-step guides that will help you level up your business with AI as a solopreneur specifically. We're talking content creation made easy, AI-powered podcasting, crafting quizzes with Chat GPT, writing email newsletters, launching your amazing offers, and more. And we're celebrating our new releases with 5 days of Black Friday deals. We'll be dishing up the best deals and lowest prices you'll ever see for our new Authentic AI courses. So if you want to transform your business with AI, this is not something you'll want to miss. Plus, if you add your name to the early bird waitlist, you'll get even more bonuses and deals when Black Friday comes around. Simply visit feelgoodsocial.com/Black Friday and start getting excited to enhance your business with AI. Yeah, so interesting. And I love me some case studies because exactly, we don't know what we don't know, and testing and trying things out. And this is the world of AI technology is just the new frontier, And so that's why it's so interesting to be having these conversations right on the beginning stages of learning about it and what it means and seeing how it'll evolve and all this different stuff. But yeah, I know. And I think that that's another reason too. It's not that we shouldn't use AI and ChatGPT to help us do things and write things, but it definitely just goes to show that putting your own brand parameters in there and telling it who your brand is super important, because it's not just about this is my brand's personality, so this is how I want you to write it. It's about giving your brand words, your brand phrases to ChatGPT, and it's about going back and forth with it. It's okay, this first article that you wrote for me me. Let's like add a few more personality pieces in here, or like help me brainstorm personal story experiences I could share within this article. There's different ways, and I think that's what it is, right? It's a collaborative process to get the gold, and it's still helpful to use. But like if you're just copying and pasting the first answer ChatGPT throws your way, it's not going to rank on Google, guys. You did say that ChatGPT is a little outdated information for keywords and stuff like that. But like, do you think that it's okay for keyword research sometimes, or just like, is there anything we can use it for that'll work for that sort of stuff? You know what I'm trying to say?
I think it's probably best for using it for like coming up with ideas for keywords to target. I would still definitely recommend checking the keywords in keyword research tools, because Chat GPT also isn't going to give you all the information keyword research tools are. I mean, it probably could, but you'd have to ask it a lot of different questions to get all the details on like monthly search volume related keywords, competition score. And I mean, even things like top ranking websites, it's not going to know that from the, since it's missing data from the last 2 years. So I think it's good for kind of that idea generation, or if you're like, hey, I have this general topic on like Facebook marketing, can you help me come up with more like niche topics related to Facebook marketing? So that way, like it can kind of help you narrow your blog posts down, and, from there you can check the keywords and things like that. But I think it's probably best for like idea generation for getting you started with keywords.
And like, yeah, exactly. Helping you understand where to take those keywords once you understand what they are. But I do want to say too that, like the updated versions of ChatGPT, the premium version does allow you to access the internet now. And there's different plugins. I haven't looked into SEO plugins yet, but at the same time, even with like access to the internet or updated information or access to certain plugins, like always, I want to encourage people to always remember, like, you don't always understand the limitations, and not every plugin for ChatGPT works great either, And so, for example, I've been trying my hardest to get ChatGPT to freaking analyze my Instagram account, and it can't. ChatGPT cannot, because of Instagram's API, right? Even with that internet access and stuff, Instagram doesn't allow, like, it doesn't really allow Google into Instagram, like YouTube videos will show up, but Instagram posts won't show up in a Google search kind of thing, right? So it's the same situation. So if you want ChatGPT to analyze your Instagram account, it cannot do that. I have heard that Bard actually can, or a different large language model can do that and stuff, but it could be similar for SEO in a way, right? Where it's like, I don't know if I've not tested if ChatGPT can actually access like different SEO metrics and stuff like that. I'm sure it could, but just always remembering, take what it gives you and fact check it. Take what it gives you and remember that it could be wrong. So I'm glad that you said that. And you know what's interesting? I read an article this morning that Google is putting so much money, time, resources into Bard so that it can keep up in the AI game. And it said like it's uncharacteristically fast tracking its Bard and AI like teams. Usually Google allows its teams to take as much time as needed to make sure that it's like a great outcome, right? But I read the article this morning. They're like, Google's fast tracking. Like it's kind of ruffling some feathers in the Google world, apparently, how much it's trying to keep up with ChatGPT and other stuff. But I'm wondering if Bard will, if Google will come out with its own kind of SEO tool that like integrates AI. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they are. I think they're beta testing right now, like an AI search function in Google. So I think they're probably going to, have that in conjunction with Bard, and who knows what they're going to do. But they are definitely like, trying to step up their game with AI, because I think, isn't it ChatGPT that like integrates in Bing or something like that? So I think Google is like, oh crap, we're behind. Who's behind Bing? Like, come on, guys.
I know. Oh my gosh. And I'm just going to say this. I really love ChatGPT. Like that's like my chosen thing, but I don't like Bing. I will say that straight up. It like annoys me. And also like the integration with ChatGPT, like it's nice because it's just like automatically connected to the internet. But I will say, I don't like the answers that it gives me necessarily when it responds to me when I'm using the Bing plugin or whatever, you know, like it doesn't remember my brand voice. I got into an argument with my Chat GPT yesterday because I'm like, why are you answering me like a robot and not like my fun loving, like Kinsey Chat GPT? You know what I mean? But I know. So I'm interested to see. I haven't really tested out Bard too much just because I've been fully down the Chat GPT train, but like I love me some Google, and if Google's like making Bard as good as Chat GPT, then I might have to convert eventually. I don't know.
Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, I have heard that Bard is not as good as Chat GPT, especially with you know, things like getting your brand voice. Like it doesn't quite understand things as well as Chat GPT, but if Google is like trying to hurry and get that thing done, it might be better than Chat GPT fairly soon.
Yeah, we will see. And I think that we want this. I'm interested your thoughts on this too, just like, you know, getting a little bit AI nerdy right now, but it's like, we don't want necessarily AI companies to hurry up their work and lose, you know, privacy, lose like ethical issues. And at the same time, I do think that we want some competition in this space so that it doesn't become a monopoly, so that we can have like options and constant improvements and different things like that. I don't know. It's just such an interesting world that we're living in right now. So, have there been any other interesting case studies that you've read about AI in general or like SEO and AI?
Yeah, I'm trying to think there have been a lot that I've read. The creation of that word, that was like the most in-depth, crazy one that I read. There was one that I read also, I don't think we've really talked about, but like since Chat GPT doesn't have the like most recent data, also because they're scanning, you know, basically the entire internet up to whatever the latest date is, 2021 or something, they might not have the most accurate information in your blog post. So there was a case study I saw where I think it was like a wedding planner or someone in the wedding industry. They wrote a blog post with Chat GPT on like, you know, 10 venues in their area. And a couple of the venues, they had outdated information. One was actually had been closed in the last year. So there's like a lot of stuff where it's like, well, I can't actually publish this because first of all, Google does not like outdated information. So that's not going to rank super well. But also like just it's not serving their audience to be posting information that's incorrect. And also kind of it can reflect badly on them if, you know, someone who's interested in working with them sees this blog post and half the venues are like closed or have, you know, different times that they're actually open or different seasons that they're open or something like that. And they're like, well, you're not really up to date with all the things going on in the wedding venue world. So I don't know if you're the best wedding planner for me. So things like that can definitely both hurt your rankings and also like even your reputation too, if depending on like what the misinformation is. But just making sure that everything that you're writing about is accurate, or I should say, check everything that Chat GPT is writing about is accurate. And yeah, just fact check. I know right now the whole plagiarism copyrighted work thing is kind of up in the air. I heard there was like a lawsuit going on in Australia, I believe. It's the first one related to like plagiarism and Chat GPT. So that's another thing where like having your brand voice and everything can really help, because you never know if like Chat GPT is just like pulling sentences straight from, you know, another website or something like that. But if you are giving them the parameters on, you know, SEO parameters, but also like your brand voice, that can really help reduce the chances that it is going to like just plagiarize someone's website, because it is trying to meet these parameters for you. So it will have to change things.
Yes. Oh, such great stuff. And I always love I geek out when I compare our two worlds. You know, I've been a little bit more in the Instagram world and you've been in the SEO world and stuff. But like for me, I love how you always bring it back to comparing not just the algorithm, not just Google, but also the human parts of it, right? So always remembering that it's not just about the numbers. It's not just about the ranking. It's not just about the algorithm. It's about your human essence and your reputation and how you want to come off. And that actually does help to boost your SEO in the first place. So I just wanted to drive that home for you guys because I love that. But for sure, always fact check. Always, always, always. And also the plagiarism thing is so interesting. My biggest takeaway too is like continue to remember that like you can go back and forth with Chat GPT. Like it doesn't spit out the best answer the first time, and that's okay. And like the more you can deep dive into it, give it more specifics, give it more feedback, tell it to add this or tweak this or do whatever, then like the better your result will be. Because ChatGPT can be so confident, right?
Yeah.
Like it wants to please you, and it can just spew bullshit or spew things that aren't necessarily like for your brand, and be confident about it and like just be like, this is it. And you can be like, oh, well, I guess like ChatGPT knows everything. So I guess this is correct, or this is what people want, or this is what I should be thinking. But no, like always remember, take what it throws your way and be like, how does my brand feel about this? What is my brand's approach to this? And tell ChatGPT your opinions. Like tell it, this is what I think about this. And then it will craft its answers based on your thoughts and like still do a lot of the work, such as like outlining or writing or honing or organizing. But if you're telling it what you think, then that's how you get the answers that make sense for you, and you don't plagiarize or just turn into sounding like everyone else in the world on the internet, right? Do you have any other thoughts about like the world of AI, where you see it going in the future? I was laughing when you said you were kind of against it in the beginning because that was me too, girl. I went through that same thing. So what are your thoughts now, and what are you looking forward to, or what are you maybe like a little bit worried about as we kind of move into this new sphere?
Yeah. One thing, I guess, what I'm most curious about is the whole legal stuff with Chat GPT. So like the plagiarism and like, you know, just scraping websites that have like copyrighted content and things like that. So I'm interested to see, first of all, if there are going to be more lawsuits coming out soon, as like people are, you know, seeing their works taken. But I'm hoping that will like turn into Chat GPT getting smarter and like not pulling, you know, content straight and like plagiarizing and things like that. So I'm hoping as time goes on, it does get a little bit smarter and there is the less legal risk with all of that. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping to see.
I know, it is so interesting to me too. And I'm actually going to be interviewing a lawyer about AI stuff. Cool. Next month and the interview isn't until next month. So I'm like waiting anxiously, you know, but yeah, it's so interesting. And things are happening right now, guys. Like we are figuring this out as a society currently. And so you kind of don't know what's going to happen. And we're kind of waiting to see where it all goes. But exactly, I think my best thing is just remembering that it's ever evolving and trying to do right as like well as you can and like use it in a way that aligns with you and stuff. But I have been reading, you know, it's a good idea if you are using ChatGPT to create content or in your business at all to kind of like include a disclaimer, like a legal notice, just saying, you know, this was created with the help of AI technology, you know, just to like make sure full transparency, I think is like the best thing that you can adapt. Also, I've been loving reading. This is so nerdy. You're going to love this. I've been loving reading like different software's terms and conditions. Like Canva just introduced all this new AI magic stuff or whatever, you know, and they have terms and conditions and stuff like how you can use this, you know, like, can you use this commercially? And like lots of other softwares do too. And what's interesting too is that a lot of, you know, I had a student the other day tell me that she's been using Canva instead of ChatGPT because Canva's privacy policy is better than ChatGPT's. But it's funny because Canva does use ChatGPT in its magic AI, right? But it's like serving as, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, like the gatekeeper, or like it's making sure that its privacy policy is better than like just the ChatGPT OpenAI one.
Yeah, I know Zoom came out with an updated one recently related to AI, and like everyone's freaking out because like I think Zoom they're saying that they can like record your Zoom meeting and then like use the content to help AI tools and stuff, which is kind of scary.
Weird, right? So freaking weird. Yeah. I mean, there's like a lot to learn. There's a lot to know. You know, just being aware that whenever you are putting anything into something that is AI powered, realize that it might not be secure or private. So like, don't be putting your passwords in there. And also, you know, for us, like thinking about our clients' privacy as well. It's not just our own personal privacy. It's also the people who we're working with and making sure that they fully understand, oh, we're using AI tools in this process, and getting there okay with that is like another legal interesting thing I think to think about. So many things, lady. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us all of this knowledge and your thoughts thoughts on AI and SEO and all the things. Do you have anything else that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, I think just with since it's always changing, hopefully this won't be outdated in 6 months, but just to always double check in case you are listening to this in, the summer of 2024 or something like that, just to double check if there are any new case studies that have come out, or if all of a sudden Bard is out, so, or updated. So Google loves AI content. So, everyone should be using it. So there could be some big changes. So just always make sure you're up to date with any changes before you're, diving into any AI tools.
I love that. And again, this is somewhat coming full circle, because that is why experts aren't going to be necessarily pushed out of a job, right? That's why it's great to have an SEO expert like Julia in your pocket that you can go to and be like, hey girl, so is this right? What's happening right now? And it's the same with experts in any industry. I think that the more we as experts can turn toward AI and start thinking, okay, what is the need to know stuff? How can I use this as an expert? That's where the magic really lies with this stuff. So thank you for sharing that, lady. Can you please, can you please share with everyone how they can connect with you and find out more about you? Because I know they'll want to do that for sure.
Yeah, so my website is juliareneeconsulting.com, and you can find lots of SEO blog posts there. And my Instagram is at Julia Renee Consulting. And then if you are in the agriculture, horticulture industry, my website is homegrownreach.com, and then Instagram is the same at homegrownreach.
Great was that conversation with Julia, you guys. I love just chatting with people from different industries about AI and what they think about it and the different things they've learned and heard about it and all the different stuff. And no matter what, I think that just us continuing to have these conversations with each other and hear from different people in different industries, it really is just helping us grow our authentic AI community and all learn together how we can use AI authentically and start getting more involved in the conversations surrounding AI, right? So if you did enjoy this episode, please share it with another biz buddy who could also use to listen to it. And also don't forget to leave us 5 stars or a friendly review on whatever platform you're listening to the podcast on, because it really does help us to boost our show to more people so that we can just continue growing and spreading our authentic AI message. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will catch you next time I catch you. Thank you so much for tuning in to Authentic AI for Entrepreneurs, my friend. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your shows. And hey, while you're at it, we would truly love for you to give us 5 stars and leave us a friendly review, because that will do so much to help us reach more down-to-earth folks like you and spread our authentic AI message even further. If you're looking for show notes and even more resources for using AI in your business, visit our website now at diywith.ai. Just open up your browser and type DIYWITH.AI, hit enter, and you'll find everything that you need to start up leveling your business with AI today.